On Network Africa today, the tables have turned and Al-Shabaab fighters are now the hunted as Somalia's military surrounds members of the group in the Puntland region. South Africa's controversial Gupta family speaks on recent allegations of colonization. Plus, you may want to run through these checks to find out if you're addicted to social media. Network Africa begins right now. Welcome everyone, I am Amarachi Ubani. West Africa has been cleared of the Ebola virus disease for months now, so it's been quite a surprise to discover 2 new cases in Guinea. The cases were reported in the southern region of Nzerekore, where the outbreak began in December of 2013. A few weeks ago, the World Health Organization warned that cases of Ebola virus could spring up in places where they'd previously been recorded and could linger in body fluids of survivors. But Guinea was one of the countries least expected to have any re-emergence of the virus. Our scientists are still learning how to deal with the virus as they deal with one of the worst outbreaks in the disease history. Meanwhile, 158 people have been killed in an outbreak of yellow fever in Angola. According to the head of Luanda Pediatrics Hospital, Matias Campos, 27 children were recorded among the dead on Monday, with many suspected cases showing up each day. The government has launched a mass vaccination campaign and is advising people to sterilize stagnant water before drinking it. But that's not the only health challenge Angola is dealing with at the moment. The World Health Organization says there has also been an increase in malaria, cholera and chronic diarrhea, not just in Luanda, but in other cities as well. City authorities have slashed their budgets for rubbish collection to cope with the budget crisis, leaving piles of waste building up in poorer suburbs, including Viana, where the first case of yellow fever was reported in late December and endangering the country's health. Somalia's military is gaining the upper hand at the moment in the fight against insurgency. The forces are currently surrounding about 250 fighters of the group in the semi-autonomous region of Puntland. The region's vice president, Abdihikan Abdullahi Ame, said the militants are trapped in a valley with no food to eat. Some who had tried to escape had been either killed or captured. The militants have threatened peace in the country for many years, trying to impose its extremist idea of Sharia law and killing thousands in the process. Their activities have spread to neighboring Kenya, which has been helping Somalia to fight the militants. Although most of Al-Shabaab is allied to Al-Qaeda, last year the group pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. And the row between Morocco and the United Nations has escalated, with the country ordering the world body to pull out 84 international staff from its Western Sahara region. The row stems from remarks made by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon that Morocco had occupied the Western Sahara. Morocco is said to have given the UN 3 days to remove its staff from the region. The furore over Mr. Ban's comments is the country's worst dispute with the UN since 1991, when the UN brokered a ceasefire to end a war over the Western Sahara and sent in the MINUSO mission. Rabat accused Ban last week of no longer being neutral in the conflict, criticizing his use of the word occupation to describe Morocco's annexation of the region at the center of a struggle since 1975, when it took over from colonial power Spain. Now, earlier this month, Mr. Ban visited refugee camps in southern Algeria for the Sahrawi people, who say Western Sahara belongs to them and have fought a war against Morocco until the 1991 ceasefire. Rabat is said to have reversed its decision. Well, when we come back after the break on Network Africa, we'll be taking a look at the situation in Zambia. The IMF given the country some belt-tightening advice for saving its budget. Please stay with us.